Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven today with a scale figure review, and guess what? Yep, another Chinese anime figure. Because the Chinese brands today, they make amazing stuff. This would be my second review of a figure made by the brand called Inifinity Studio. Yup, they are Chinese, and they are known for this product line called SSR figure, which you may have heard of because they used to make a lot of low budget scale figures that are kind of good value. So my first review of a SSR figure was sometime last year. This yoga stretching girl called Yura, that was a 1/7 scale low budget scale figure that cost less than 12,000 yen. My review was mostly positive, but at the same time, it wasn't a perfect figure. Yeah, but this time around, things are different because the stakes are a lot higher. This is a proper premium scale figure that cost 22,500 yen before any taxes or shipping. So this is something you compare with Japanese brands out there, and she better be good. I did not purchase this figure, and she is not part of my May anime figure haul, so this is where my full disclosure comes in. Inifinity Studio has reached out to me on social media offering me this figure at no cost to me, in exchange for three things. Number one, a review of this figure. Number two, to promote their latest anime figure, which is currently on pre-order at the time of publishing this video. And number three, to organize a figure pre-order giveaway. So there will be one winner of this 1/7 scale figure of Kurokawa Miu deluxe edition made by Inifinity Studio. This figure has pre-order opened on the 9th of May in Japanese websites as far as I'm aware of. And at the time of recording this video, because I am recording this before the figure pre-order opens, I'm not sure what the price of this figure is. But if I have to guess, maybe 22,500 yen for the deluxe version, same price as this scale figure over here. I'm just guessing, by the way. But if you are interested in pre-ordering this figure, yes, please do check out the link in the description below or right up here, or also in a pinned comment below. Yeah, I think this is a great looking figure. I like it a lot myself. I might pre-order one. So yeah, there we go. So regarding the figure pre-order giveaway today, as mentioned earlier, there will be one winner of that Kurokawa Miu figure. And how do you participate? There are a few things you need to know. Number one, there will be a link in the description below, and also in a pinned comment below. They are the same link. Click on either one, and there will be a few things you need to do in order to submit an entry or more into this giveaway, right? The more things you do, the more entries you submit, the more chances you will win. If you have participated in any other contest or giveaways before by other websites or even other YouTube channels, then the format will be very familiar to you. It is exactly the same thing. Like visit my Twitter, visit my Instagram, and so on. And each thing you do, you indirectly submit an entry. Yes. You may be required to log into your Google account before you proceed to do the things in that list. That is normal. I'm telling you that first. I've set it that way to make sure that you are human, not a Terminator. So don't worry about the logging in part. And the next thing is that this giveaway is global. Does not matter whether you're residing in the US, in UK, in Europe, or Asia, you can participate. And the next thing would be the winner will be selected in random. And I will announce the winner on my YouTube channel, both as a post and also in a future video upload. Like the thumbnail will have the words giveaway winner, something like that. So if you want to stay informed, please do subscribe to this channel and watch out for my future posts, my future uploads. Also, you can join my Discord server. I will also announce the winner over there. And I think Discord is a great place to keep in contact with me, because the winner, that is where I want to collect your personal information, your name, your shipping address, your phone number, so that I can forward it to Inifinity Studio, who will be the ones who ship the figure to you after the figure has been released, which is why this is a figure pre-order giveaway. However, the winner of this figure will have to pay for the shipping cost of the figure. I'm making that clear first. This is what Inifinity Studio told me. I'm not the one making the rules over here. So why do you have to pay for the shipping cost? Ask Inifinity Studio, not me. But why would you even reject a free figure just because you have to pay for the shipping cost, right? It is not easy to win a giveaway when you are competing against thousands of other people, so don't worry about the shipping cost part. So thanks a lot to Inifinity Studio for sponsoring today's figure review as well as today's figure giveaway. Any of the other boring stuff, the terms and conditions, privacy notice, yeah, all of that are in the contest link if you want to read them. Now getting back to today's figure review over here, just because this is a sponsored figure, it does not mean I will be biased. In fact, I will remain neutral and there are issues that I'm about to complain in today's figure review. Yes, this is not a perfect figure. You are looking at Inifinity Studios 1/7 scale SSR figure, Liu Qi, that's her name. And this is an original character illustrated by a famous artist called Asanagi. Her official price is 22,500 yen before taxes and shipping. She was released in April 2025 for the international market, so just a month ago, very recent. Of course, she came out way earlier in China, like a few months earlier. As for the height of this figure, at 1/7 scale, she stands at 23 cm including the base. So this is actually not a very tall figure, partly because this appears to be kind of like a lolly character in a way, but with really thick thighs and the backside, nice body proportions, I like it. But before we proceed to the main figure, there are a few things I need to point out about the packaging and the box. Where did I put the box? Oh, right behind me. Okay, so this is what the box looks like as you saw in the earlier parts of today's video. It feels like everyone are copying Alta's box design nowadays, but you can't deny that this is a very attractive packaging. Yep. And aside from the shiny authenticity sticker over here, there is a list of idiot-proof instructions over here which I find very interesting, and this is something I never see any Japanese brand print on their boxes. I think it is a very good thing. And this is like general advice for new figure collectors. I think seasoned collectors like me, we already know what to do and what not to do to an anime figure. Playing the product on furniture for an extended period may transfer colors onto other surfaces. This is great advice, you see. I don't think this advice applies to this figure, but for sitting pose figures, some figures they don't come with a base, especially the cheaper ones, or some people they prefer not to use the base. They just put the figure directly on the surface of their shelf, right? But the problem is the wooden shelf they are displaying their figures on, sometimes they are not natural wood, it is painted wood, and then you create paint transfer problems later on. So this is great advice over here. And then do not leave the product in a hot and humid place. Avoid leaving the goods in direct sunlight or near other sources of heat, such as heating applications. Yeah, common sense, but sometimes common sense is not very common in today's society. Anyways, box is great, but at the same time, this is not a very tough box. Yeah. Now, moving on to the main figure's sculpting over here. The good parts on this figure is that the sculpting is very precise. This is definitely Asanagi art. When I saw the figure's face, it is so distinct. Yes. So whenever you see the way the eyes are being drawn and the face overall, you know that it is Asanagi art. And this figure, they got it so right with the face sculpt. The face is beautiful. It is exactly the same as what we saw in the official product pictures back then when she went on pre-order. So the face is like a 9.5 or even a 10 out of 10. There is virtually nothing I can complain about the face. And then speaking of seam lines between parts, right? For example, a figure is made of multiple different parts. They are then painted separately and glued together. The seam lines over here are very clean and very neat. No ugly gaps, no glue leaking out from two separate parts, right? Everything is very neat and nicely done over here, especially with this snake over here surrounding her. There are a few parts where you can see, very obviously, it is consisting of several separate parts being joined together. Like this part over here, or yeah, this part over here near the legs. It is so obvious that it is two separate parts being glued together. But the parts are fitting so well, and the seam lines, they blend in rather naturally with the rest of the figure. No ugly gaps, right? So the quality control over here with the part fitting is excellent. The next thing I want to point out is these bells over here on the hair, right? They are actually movable and they appear to be tightly attached to a hair using a string, a red color string. It is not immediately obvious, but the closer you look, well, I had to ask myself, are they using soft rubber like PVC or are they using a red color string? I'm not too sure and I'm too afraid to inspect it any closer for fear of breaking it. But this bell over here, 4 of them, they are actually movable. And they appear to be, tied together very tightly with red color strings. It is so well executed that I could barely tell what material they used to do this. If there is one small deficiency on the sculpt I need to point out over here, this is not unique to Inifinity Studio. So on the right side of her body over here, right, where her right leg, her right hip joins with her dress over there, you can see this small zigzag. Yeah, like her hip is protruding out a little bit in a rather unnatural manner. Like, I know that the dress is very tight, it is squeezing against her body, and then sometimes you'll see the skin bulge out a little bit, right? But this looks a bit unnatural. At the same time, the Alter Lemalin figure from Azalane I reviewed last year has the same problem. So this is not unique to Inifinity Studio. Even the top tier Japanese figure brands, they also sculpt their figure this way. Could have been better. It looks a bit unnatural to me. Yeah, but this is really just me nitpicking. So for the sculpting department of this figure, I would give it a maximum score of 8 out of 10, which is pretty good. Though remember that I have never given any figure 10 out of 10 before, not even Alter's best or Eastream's best, nope. So 8 out of 10 for a figure around 20-22k in Japanese yen, that is a pretty good score. Moving on to the paintwork. The good part about the paintwork of this figure, I see a lot of weathering and shading, something I always look for in any figure I review. The white dress is not just plain white. If you look very carefully, you'll see a slight hint of purple, pink, as if her dress is slightly translucent and you can see a bit of a skin underneath. This was a thing I saw in Sister Oko by Model Way as well, a very similar paintwork over here, so very nice over there. The stocking is very heavy in shading, as well as her skin, you can see a slight pink color tint to it at some places. So the shading work is really nice, and even on her hair, at first glance, it appears to be whitish grey, but the closer you look, there are many different shades of grey to even purple, right? So I love the shading work on this figure, and the best part is that there is barely any QC issues, right? No paint bleeding, no paint transfer, no scratches of any kind. If you look closely, the gold color trims along the edges of her white color dress, painted with precision. So this is the thing I look for with paintwork, and Inifinity Studio did a fabulous job over here. At the same time, there's this really weird mistake with the paintwork on this figure. A mistake so weird that I've never seen it happen to any other figure I've collected before in my 15 years of collecting anime figures. This has to be a first. So if you look carefully on the front of a dress over here, along the buttons, the silver buttons right there, oddly enough, there is a very white square right in between the buttons, the one I'm circling right there. So my guess over here is that this is a mistake with masking tape. Or maybe they accidentally left a masking tape over there. The buttons are silver in color. Meanwhile, the rest of the dress are probably still completely in white color, and they wanted to do a bit of weathering. So they apply very tiny square-shaped masking tapes on the silver buttons, and they happened to apply one on a region where there are no buttons at all. Or maybe, they left one behind by accident, and then they proceeded to spray this light grey paint on the rest of the dress, and then after they remove the masking tape, there is a very white square right there, if that makes any sense. This is definitely quality control issue, right? It is a mistake you make during painting, and this has to be the weirdest mistake yet I've seen in any anime figure. I think this applies to maybe only my copy of this figure. It is not something you'll see repeating in many other figures, I think. Yeah, it is a QC issue. So with that in mind, the paint work, the paint score I can give for this figure is also an 8 out of 10, not higher than that. Moving on to the base of this figure, this is perhaps the weakest part of this figure, and I don't necessarily mean it in a negative way, because most of it is subjective, right? So the thing with this figure is that it is unusually stable for a figure that is standing on one single leg. You look at me shaking this figure, she barely wobbles at all, right? Barely wobbles at all. Like, how is this possible for a figure standing on one leg? It has to do with the foot peg design, which is very clever. The foot peg over here appears to be fully plastic, but the shape is a bit like a key, right? So the shape prevents the figure from rotating or spinning towards other angles, and it locks the figure in place while having enough surface area to maintain the figure's stability. If you are disappointed by the fact that there is no metal foot peg over here, there is a possibility where there is a metal rod inserted right in the center of the plastic peg. There is a possibility over there. However, with the foot peg design over here, be it plastic or metal, given the shape and the size of it, which is unlikely to break, and it resulted in a very stable figure, I'm okay with a plastic foot peg over here. Meanwhile, the design of the base over here has to be my least favorite part of the figure. It looks more like a chocolate bar. It looks like Kit Kat even. I would have preferred a matte finish, right? In fact, SSR Figure's very own Yura figure, that yoga figure earlier that I mentioned, the base design on that is a lot better than this one. It looks a bit like wood, and there is some shading even. They cut way too much cost on the base design over here. I would like to see a better base. At least make it matte finish, because a matte surface is harder to scratch. And this is where the second quality control problem is. The first one was the white color square on her dress in front. The second one is that the moment I took this figure out from the box, I'm opening the figure for the very first time, I noticed a bunch of scratches on the surface of the base. Micro scratches. How did that happen? Yup, from fingernails most likely, right? And those scratches could have been prevented if the surface finish is matte instead of gloss. Gloss bases like this are very easy to scratch accidentally, and there are so many other figure collectors out there. When I visit their homes, including my own friends, I take a look at the figures. If you shine the base portion of their figure under a light like this, a studio light, then you can see some micro scratches on the surface. It is bound to happen eventually. I think this is the biggest flaw of the figure. Having scratches on the base straight out of the box, brand new. And for that reason alone, the score for the base over here, I can give it a maximum of 5.5 out of 10, which is perfectly average. Without those scratches over there, I can only give it a 6 out of 10, yes. So, arriving to the conclusion of today's figure review, can I recommend this figure of Liu Qi from Inifinity Studio? I would say it is still a resounding yes if you are a big fan of Asanagi's artwork. Because the first thing I care the most about a figure like this, a figure that is based on an original artwork, it has to reflect the artwork in the first place. It needs to be accurate, at least the face, the eyes and everything, and this figure is exactly the case. It is very accurate, very loyal to the original artwork. And I shall mention this, which I forgot earlier. This thing is included in the box, whatever it is. I'm not opening it. This is very nice, and there appears to be, a signature from Asanagi right here. So this is a nice bonus in the box. And for that reason alone, this beautiful figure and this bonus item, I would recommend this figure to fans of Asanagi's artwork. Meanwhile, as for everyone else, it really depends on what kind of collector you are. Some people just want to collect very pretty anime figures, then this is an option that you can consider. There are not many figures out there that comes with a snake other than Boa Hancock's, obviously. If you only collect the anime characters, the game characters you know, and you don't care about original art figures, then obviously this figure is not for you. So with that in mind, that is all for my figure review of Liu Qi today by Inifinity Studio. I hope that you found this review helpful if you are interested in this one. And if it is, please do give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content like this every week. Until then, I wish all of you participating in the giveaway good luck. And do look out for my announcement on the winner. The contest period is 1 week, by the way, before I forget. 1 week from the day of publishing this video, exactly 7 days. And after the contest ends, it will take me 1 to 2 weeks to announce the winner. Yep, so it will be quite soon. In the meantime, please do check out all of my other links in the descriptions below, and I shall see you guys again soon. Thanks again and goodbye.